bro?
How you doing? Welcome to another video where we're gonna continue working on this guitar. And here's the neck. In today's video we're gonna tighten up the wiring inside of the guitar. If you don't know, this guitar is a Harley Benton left-handed guitar that I am doing some experiments with. One experiment is the whole neck video thing where I put on binding and switched out things, made it a little bit nicer. The next big experiment is the body, turning it into a semi-hollow one. And the last experiment is actually gonna be later on with the electronics. And we're not gonna switch anything out because we're gonna see what happens when I rewind the microphones. So we're gonna keep everything stock. But if you're, for example, trying to change things around a little bit maybe, and you feel like, I wanna, know how to make everything look nice and neat and the way it's supposed to look, or at least the way I think it's supposed to look, the way it would look if you bought a really nice expensive guitar like a Fender Custom Shop or something like that. This is not gonna change the sound of the pickups, it's just gonna make everything a little bit better, neater, better performance, and reduce some of the noise. Single coils are naturally noisy, so this is gonna help out, and I think this is important, but some of you might disagree. But if you're putting together maybe a kit guitar or something like that, I think that this is going to be perfect for you, because usually the inside of a pickguard on a kit guitar is really sloppy, and as you can see, this one is really sloppy, wires hanging loose everywhere. So I'm going to show you how I do it. In the end, we're going to have something that looks much nicer and looks a lot neater. So, without any more weird joke about changing sunglasses, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing is this little zip tie here. It's actually a perfectly good thing to use, and we're gonna actually do that later. So I'd recommend you have zip ties, but this one is meaningless. Yeah, sure, it's holding some cables together, but it's just, everything is a mess and it's sloppy, so it's not really doing what I want it to do. So we're just gonna cut it off and remove it. And now we are free to do whatever we want with these cables. Okay, so I have unsoldered the wires that are going to the pickups, and I'm gonna try to take the neck pickups 2 wires now, and I'm gonna twirl them and spin them around each other like I'm doing right here to get a neat and a nice spin on them, twist on them like this. And I'm gonna do that all the way. And then I'm gonna lay them flat like this. And I'm gonna move over to the next pickup. And now I'm gonna take the 2 wires going from the middle pickup, and I'm gonna do the same thing, just twist them together. I'm gonna take the bridge pickup, and I'm gonna twist them together as well. And then I'm gonna pull these together like this. This one has unwound itself a little bit, but that's okay. We can just retwist them. Put this one straight over like this, and all of them meet up down here like so, and then up a little bit from the pot. That's where we put our new zip tie. And as you can see, everything looks a lot neater now. So the next thing we do is somewhere around here where the pot is, we are gonna separate all the black wires from their colored wires, and we are gonna twist the black wires together into one. Now, as you can see, we have a lot more of the black wire than we actually need. So we're gonna cut these off, because the more wire you have in your guitar, the more noise and more issues you're gonna have. You want everything to be as short as possible, but you also don't want there to be strains put on your wires. So you're gonna have to cut them a little bit longer so that they are not taut, but something like that. will be perfect. And all of these wires we can keep for something else. We don't have to throw them away just because we're not going to use them. I can solder them together with each other first. And now I can just take these wires together and solder them to the back of the pot. And because everything is pre-tinned, everything melts together real nice and neatly. I can twist these wires together as well, and I can pull them up here where they're supposed to go. I give them a little bit extra so that they don't are taut like this, but lying neatly. But as you can see, this yellow one, it doesn't need to be this long, so I'm going to cut it back. So now we can solder these wires in place, and because of how the switch works, the furthest connection is the first pickup, which is the bridge pickup. And that's a blue wire, so it's going to the furthest away connection. And the white one is the neck pickup, so we're taking the yellow one, which is the middle pickup, as our next one. Like so. And now, if I push it down the way I want it, you can see everything looks really neat and nice. All the cables are lying in a perfect way. So if we take a close look here at what we've done so far, we twisted the wires from the pickups to their corresponding place. And I think this looks better than it did before. Everything looks really neat, and a lot of wire has been put the way it's supposed to. So, we're going to do the same thing here. So let's just jump into it before we get too tired. We can start off with these ground wires, for example. We can start here with this one. And if we desolder it and we pull it so it's taut and then just back off a little bit, we can see that somewhere around here we can cut it off. See how much wire we're removing? And then we just pre-tin the wire again and we solder it back in its place. We just soldered this one as well. Now these wires are going to be a little bit fiddly to move with because they have the same color, and it's going to be kind of easy to mess things up with these two wires. First off, we're going to remove this one because it's in the way. We're just pulling it to the side for now. And because these two have the same color and they're both tone knobs, I'm going to use a permanent marker, and I'm deciding that this one gets a little mark, and then I'm just twisting these wires together and I am pulling them up to the switch like so. And the question is, I don't think I want to remove any wire on these because the wires were long enough to be twisted together, but not long enough to have to be shortened. So I'm attaching this one back there and this one back there. And now they can lie somewhat neat. They're a little bit taut maybe, but I think it's gonna be good. Now this wire here, I feel is a little bit long. We don't need it to be this long, and I'm just gonna pull it down and over to the switch. And as you can see, it's quite a lot that we can remove. So I'm gonna remove that, keep it a little bit longer than what I see, and just take this wire here and cut away. Just the same thing as I do on all of these. And we push it back into its place. And now we have a much shorter wire that lies neat where it has to go. The last one is this one, and as you can see, if I pull it all the way over here, we have the same thing here. We solder it back to its place where we took it off, and now everything looks neat. The last thing we have left are these three cables, the two black ones and the red. Now, two of them should be the same length, or approximately at least. The two that are the same length, if you have two that are the same length, they are supposed to go together. And the last one you're just going to ignore for now and solder in place to the claw. But these We're gonna pull them away from the pickguard, sort of like I'm doing right now, out in this angle, because that's most likely the way they're sort of gonna go. And we're just gonna try to wrap them around each other, twist them together like this, as neatly as we can and as tight as we can. And when I say tight now, I mean the wrapping around as tight as we can, not, you know, pulling hard at the wires. Just want to make sure so you don't break them. And once you have something that looks neat like this, because these wires are actually like the longest ones you will have in the guitar, or at least some of the longest, that's like where most noise will be introduced. I want to keep them as neat as this as I can. So what I'm doing is I'm actually going to put on some shrink tube, put it somewhere like that. And then I'm just going to use my soldering iron to heat it up, to make it shrink. Once they go into the body, I'm going to try to see if I can make them as short as possible so that everything is neat. Obviously, like I've already said, I hope you understand what I mean when I say as short as possible. I mean without being taut, pulling or anything, so that they are relaxed but not unnecessarily long. So if we zoom out and we look at the pickguard right now, everything looks a lot nicer and neater. Well, so there's the pickguard and everything looks the way I like it. I hope this helps. There are some things like you could switch out the wires. You don't need to use these wires that it comes with. You could switch them out for better wires that are better insulated. I know some people like cloth pullback wires or whatever they're called. You could switch out all the wires to that if you want to. I personally don't think that you need to do that for quality, because I don't think those wires are actually better than modern plastic covered ones. But some pickups, for example, like this one right here, has only one wire that comes out, and it has the plastic cover, and then you have the two wires hidden inside of it, which I don't know if you can see that I'm holding it up. And I do believe that is better, because usually that ground wire is twisted around, just like I've done here, but it will be a lot neater and nicer twisted together with a machine than you could ever do by hand. So if you want to do this but you want to go really hardcore, you can actually buy that kind of wire that is two wires hidden in one, and you could use that for all of these connections. And the same thing goes for, like here, you could use insulated wires for all of these connections. You could take one of those wires and connect here and have just the two connections go there. That's an option. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, because that's awesome if you do. Nice, makes me happy. Lets me know that the videos I'm making are appreciated and that I should continue. Also, in the comments below, which do you prefer? Let me know. Until next time, stay awesome and cool, and go and twist the wires inside of all of your guitars together, and, well, not together with each other, but, you know, I mean, with each other inside of the guitar, but don't cross guitar. It's sort of like the don't cross stream. I'm rambling. Here's the pickguard. Bye bye.